In this lesson, you'll customize the WordPress page used as the front page of the brochure site. You'll also explore the differences between posts and pages in WordPress and add a site logo and icon using the customizer. By the end of this video, you will have already set the brochure site apart and branded it for your client, and you'll have an understanding of how the customizer works within the WordPress dashboard. Plus, you'll understand when to use posts and when pages are more appropriate. Let's get started. Let's start with editing this front page that we have inside of WordPress called sample page. For now, I think I'd just like to get rid of this title, add a nice big image, and maybe keep some of this descriptive text in here. So I'll go back to that page inside the WordPress dashboard, which I have open here. And the first thing I'll do is, if you look at the permalink, you can see that since I have it set as the front page of the site, it's really the site's URL that's the permalink here. But I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that page title and click Update. And then once that saves, I can go back to my other tab and hit Refresh, and you'll see that title of the page itself is gone. Now I can trim this text a little bit down to what I want. Let's see, I'm just going to select a bunch of this text and hit backspace, delete, get rid of that, and get rid of this text as well. Now as you can see, this text is styled in a certain way. If I select it, you can see that this quotation called block quote is selected. If I get rid of it, it's just the regular text, but I kind of like that, the way that's styled as what's called a block quote. And above here is where I'm going to put an image. Let's just hit Update and we'll take a look at that. Once the page refreshes up here, there we go. I'll hit Refresh. Great, now if this is a descriptive piece of text about my website, now I can put a large image here. Now I've prepared a huge image for you to use if you like, or you can use your own. This is at wpdevcourse.com/hugeimage.jpg. It's a 7 megabyte image. Here it is in full size. And so you can see it's a very large image. And as I introduced to you in chapter 1, I'd like you to go ahead and open an image editing piece of software that you should have for the course and trim this image down to a reasonable size. Let's say 1600 pixels wide and preferably under 200 kilobytes in size. So pause the video right now and see how you get on. So if you right-click the image, you can click Save Image As, and then go ahead and save that image. I've already got a copy of it, so what I'll do is open up Photoshop and click File Open. And here's where I've got the image. And now I'll open that image in Photoshop, and first thing I want to do is click Image, Image Size, and size that to 1600 pixels wide. There it is at 100%, just so that we can see how large it really is. It could be a full screen image if we want, plenty big. Now I'll click File, Save for Web and Devices, and that's set on JPEG High. If I drag around, I can see what it looks like. Let's see what it looks like with the medium setting. Well, it does look just as good on medium, and it's only 119K. So I'll hit Save. And I've got a folder on my desktop called Brochure Site. That's where I've been saving some of the images here. Call it Large Image, and save. Now, if I go back into WordPress, one thing I'll do is just put my cursor there inside of the page where I want that image, click Add Media, Upload Files, and then I'll select it on my desktop. Large Image, Open. You can see as that's opening, it'll give me some details over here, how big it is. The full-size image is 1600 pixels wide at 123 kilobytes. I might leave this as a left-aligned image. I don't need to link it to anything. And if I look at the sizes, these are the sizes I have set in the media settings. And I think I'll leave it at a large setting and then insert it into the page. I can see that since it's left aligned, it's placed it inside of the block quote line that's right here. If I want to sit that image above that block quote, I might change it to no alignment. There we go. Now it sits above there nicely. Update the page, and let's take a look at it on the site. Nice. That's a nice big image. Looks great. Next, let's make some edits to the site title and the tagline and add a small logo up here on the left side. If I go back to my dashboard, let's go ahead and under Appearance, click Customize. This will open up a live editor where we'll be able to see the live site here on the right and a customizing window over here on the left-hand side. Under Site Identity, you can see that there's a few options here. The site title, which of course is also available under Settings General. But what if I called this Fireweed Photography? That's a fireweed plant there. Potentially this could be a photographer's site. Great. You can see it updating in real time as we update the site title and the tagline here. Of course, we could uncheck the site title and tagline and have that not visible in the case that we wanted to put a logo that had some copy or the name of the site inside of the logo. For now, let's leave that visible there, and we can click Save and Publish. And there it goes. It says saved. So if we look over here at the site on the different tab, if I refresh, there it is, Fireweed Photography up here in the tab, as well as right here. And then the home link is clickable to the home page. Site title. Let's add a logo. Now it says a suggested image dimensions of 240 by 240. And you might think of going into Photoshop or your image editor and preparing an image of that size. I've already prepared an image that's 240 by 240. I called it logo image. So I'll go ahead and upload that. Now since it's sized perfectly, when I hit select, it'll give me an opportunity to crop it if I want to any size I like. But I can skip cropping, and we'll see what 240 by 240 looks like. It's nice and square. Great. However, you know what? I might prefer if it's maybe, I don't know, about half that size so it doesn't push the site down so far. Well, suppose I wanted to change the logo. I could actually select that same image and crop it differently. Say I wanted to bring it up like this and then hit Crop Image. I could size it appropriately. Nice. Now let's save and publish. And I've got a nice logo that's also clickable to the home page. Let's add an icon, or what we might call a favicon, like this W from the WordPress site over here that appears in the browser, using the customizer. If you look down here, the site icon wants it to be 512 pixels wide and tall. A square icon. Well, I'll just open up Photoshop. Maybe I'll do File New. Here's where I'm getting into a little bit of graphic design. 512 by 512. Let's see, maybe I'll just choose a background color of a nice dark green. And let's see. Let's do, how about a big F for fireweed? See, if I make that, let's just make the color of the font a nice black. Try to find maybe a sort of an elegant capital F. You know, it's going to show up better, I think, if I make it white instead of black. And here we go. Sure. It's going to have to be pretty large to fill it up. There we go. How about even larger than that? 600 point? Is that a little too large? No, that fits nicely. For a site icon, you've got to keep it pretty simple looking, because it's going to be so small in certain browsers, and it'll use an icon on mobile and things like that. Great, so now I'll just save for web and devices. This time, since it's so graphic, I'll just use a PNG, only 4K. I'm just going to call this one icon. Now let's go back to WordPress, and I can select the image. I'll have to upload it. Great, look how it shows with rounded corners, and I can save and publish, and you can see what it looks like up inside of the site title inside of my tab. Great, a nice F for fireweed photography. For the last part of this video, let's take a look at the difference between pages and posts in WordPress. Here on the sidebar, by default, you'll see that we've got a couple of widgets here on the sidebar. One of them is called Recent Posts. Let's go ahead and click that Hello World. Let's take a look at this post. Now, the header, which contains the logo and the site title and the tagline, is the same. But what we have here is a post that contains a few extra things more than what that page contained that we made as the front page of the website. They look virtually the same, but what we've got is a site title and some content. But then to the left, inside of this theme, is an author name and a gravatar, or an image avatar for the author, a date, and then there's an edit button. If you're logged in, many pages on your site will give you that edit button so that you can come back to the dashboard very quickly. But then as you scroll down, you can also see that this says one thought on Hello World. This is a comment. There's a default comment that also has a date and an author avatar, has the comment there, and even a reply button, and a reply comment field down here in the bottom, and the ability to post comments. These are a few of the differences between pages and posts. Now, WordPress, originally being a blogging software, now that it's developed into a CMS, we don't always use the blogging functionality, but when you look at posts inside of WordPress, you'll see that if we look at that Hello World post, some of the differences that we have are the ability to have that date, and that's called metadata over here on the side or under the header of the post title. And then there are post formats that a site's theme are able to use and define posts in certain different ways. Also, a big difference, posts can be categorized and posts can be tagged. And these are all navigation and findability conventions so that users can browse different posts and find what they're looking for. Otherwise, the editing area is virtually the same. In a general sense, posts are designed to be news or blog areas on a website, somewhere that you post where people can comment, and that you put newer content and ever-changing or periodical content on a website. Pages, on the other hand, are designed to be static and maybe containing some information that doesn't change. Oftentimes, we'll have a series of navigation buttons across the top that can point to different pages on a website, like an About page, a Contact Us page, and other pages like that. And then we might have a link to some post categories, or on the sidebar we might offer some archives to different posts. So that in May 2016, you can see that there was one post, the default post, posted on this date. That way users can go through the website and find content they're looking for, or look at the blog section of the website and see the latest content. In this video, you've optimized an image and revised the home page of the website. You've uploaded it to the media library, as well as uploaded and configured a logo image, edited the site title and the tagline, all using the customizer and the site identity section. And you learned a little bit about the differences between pages and posts in WordPress. In the next video, we're going to configure the navigation menu across the top, and we're going to set up some interior pages that users might like to navigate to, like an About page and a Contact Us page. And we'll also configure the sidebar to be a little bit more appropriate for this brochure site.